Hello, hello. Good morning. Let me know if you can see and hear me properly. Hi to all the regulars, Rocket, Sean C, David P, Big Ol, Adam Super C, and a couple of newbies. Let's talk about the recent video I dropped, as well as a topic I've been pondering, which is this, getting older and feeling alone. As always, if you have any questions during this live stream, if you want to throw them out to the audience, you want to ask me to answer something, please put 3 emojis like this example here just before your question, and I'll read it out or answer it as long as it's civil. And let's get the stream on the road. All right, the recent video I did was this one. When you like the wrong type of person. And it's something I think on autopilot, we trust it. We like something, it feels good. We're attracted to the person. Therefore, how can it be wrong? We're smiling. Everything's positive. But it's one of these things that hides below the surface. It's even worse than a car salesman if it's the wrong person. And you don't usually find out till later. Or if you've had enough experience with those wrong kind of people that at the beginning ostensibly seem like they're great, seem like they're polite, but you really need to discern whether those people are right for you. And the easiest example I can give is, when you go into a department store and someone's polite and friendly and, hello, sir, can I help you? And they smile. They're not your friend. They are being polite. And I feel like when people go on dates and trying to get with friends or lovers, they go out there with the intent of wanting to make it real, but you're both the store person trying to put on your best face and being polite and meaning it, but you need to also find out whether it's honest or whether this is just a game. And you just stay in that mode of salesman, I'm sure a lot of you know what I mean. And when you have enough experience, you start to learn the cues very early on about what's a real person and what isn't. Yeah, Robbie says experience is priceless. Hope you like this camera. It can actually move around and it follows me. Anyway, Robbie says experience is priceless. And I would say that it's a difficult thing because when you are younger and you don't have experience, how are you supposed to get experience unless you have experience? It's like a job. I can't get a job. They won't give me experience and they're looking for experience. It's the same in your personal life. If you don't get experience around people, then people letting you down and you screwing up around people, whether it's friendships, colleagues, strangers in public, but most importantly, your intimate relationships, you really feel like people take advantage of you. You're a nice guy, a nice girl, you're a doormat, but you have to be aware of the civil politeness that people in a well-meaning way do, but then you need to work out really quickly if this person is for you or if they're not. Because living online, we get avatars of people and we think we're avatars of a person, but it's only in real life that you really find out whether this person is actually an easy friend to be around. I don't have to try. I forget what I'm saying and who I am, and I just enjoy time with them. Hours just fly by. And you don't have to be formal. You're not aware of what they're saying so much in a formal sense, like a shop clerk asking you, can I help you, and being polite and formal. You're not aware of the to and fro of answers like you might be in a job interview. So experience is important, but getting the experience can be painful. And some people don't recover. Some people make mistakes that follow them around for the rest of their lives. So I would say getting the experience to know whether someone's taking advantage of you or not. Unfortunately, you have to try and decide where the line is for you with people. But that's a very difficult thing to do when you're not used to... There are a lot of guys online that aren't used to being around people. They're just in front of microphones like this all day, and they listen to others, but they're never around others. Being around others with body language, having to show up at a place to have a coffee, hanging out with your friend, side by side sitting in a car and having a conversation, things like that. Those little refinements in socializing can only be had in the presence of another person or in a group of people. I find it probably most uncomfortable being in a group of people. I'm fairly good one-on-one, but in a group of people, I find it very difficult. But imagine you don't even do one-on-one. Imagine how difficult that is. So, and the first point for me is being honest about this stuff, because this is why I sometimes rant in videos about these guys that act tough online and post videos and post comments and high value this and that. Fine, act tough, energize yourself with the fantasy. You know, it's like playing a video game, right? But if you can't admit when you can't sleep at night, if you feel alone, you got no one to talk to, you don't have a best friend, you jump online just to cope, you know, you don't have hobbies, you online is the lifeline for your life. Unless you can start to admit those kind of things, then it's very hard to have an honest conversation, because when you're not talking about, I feel crap, I feel lonely, I'm not sleeping well, I can't talk to people, I don't get along with my parents, these people annoy me, I don't like my job. Just be honest about the stuff, not complaining for complaining's sake like the woke crowd online. But when you can be completely honest with yourself, and then by extension, then you start to be honest with others, then me and other people can enjoy having a conversation with you, and we can go back and forth, and we can start to look at what's the real cause of this stuff. And then when you know what the real cause of your pain points are, the walls you keep hitting, then you can move to something better. But I think that a lot of people stay in the safe space of online complaining because it's not really affecting your life, and you can just point at other people. You can point at me, you can point at women, and you can say, haha, you're stupid, you're not high value, you're going to turn out to be a cat lady, all of that kind of low resolution childish stuff. But to look in the mirror and really say, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm always tired. I'm sick of every day not doing the thing I want to do. Like, say you want to write a book. Every day you go to bed saying, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start writing, or tomorrow I'm going to get fit. And you never do. You find excuses. You binge watch, I don't know, some series on Netflix. And then again, it gets to the evening. It's like you kick yourself and you say, okay, tomorrow's going to be the day. If tomorrow is always the day, then you are not addressing and talking about the things that can get you out of that. The comfort zone of complaining feels really good because you get motivated to do something tomorrow that you never end up doing. But to really decide that, no, tomorrow's not going to be like every other day. Whatever happens, I'm going to show up and do X, Y, and Z, even if I feel the worst. Because it's only after doing these things that we fix our problems. But then what happens is your online buddies disappear. You don't get to hang around them so much. They don't want to hang around you as much. You might not have as much time, or you might be just deciding, I'm going to hike every day. And so 3 to 5 hours of your day are spent hiking, and you can't jump on Discord with your friends, but you're still alone. You don't have a partner. But if you know what the good thing for you to do is, then you need to do it. And be very, very careful of friends you think you have online that pull you down like crabs in a bucket, that tell you, dude, you don't want to do that because of they point out every little thing that could go wrong. Those people aren't helping you. If you are sensibly trying to do things that could improve your life and all they can do is point out the negatives, then I would suggest reevaluate those friends. But yeah, what do you guys think? If you're here during the live stream, what do you guys think about that? He from New South Wales. Mr. Adam's apple. I'm so lonely human. Well, look, at least you're admitting it, and that's a good thing. If you can't just say, yeah, I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I can't sleep. I'm lonely. I have no one to talk to. I really want to do this, but I just kick myself that I'm not. You have to be honest about those things. And if you're not, then how's anyone supposed to help you? If the only thing you can do is watch rage videos, and the only thing that makes you feel protected is to feel angry, if the only way to feel brave and protected and secure is to feel angry, to plant your feet and have your sword out all the time, and swing your sword at the government and swing your sword at dating and swing your sword at whatever else you know you don't like or is not good. What's good? You know? I think Quaz said, he says, people who don't know how to relate, all they know how to do is stimulate themselves. And I think most people, all they're doing is stimulating themselves with extreme videos. Most people that watch relationship advice videos online watch the extreme train wreck stuff. The stuff I've mentioned, the most popular channels that are talking about all the negativity. And sure, they're warning you about the pitfalls, which is great. But if all you talk about is the negative, that's what you're conditioned with. That's what your antennas always pick up. You go on a date, even wanting the girl, but thinking, red flags, oh, what did that mean? What did that? And you won't say it. You're nervous. You're a fidgeting bird waiting, just looking for red flags. If you've always got your magnifying glass out for red flags, you are no different to the feminist that's always ready to jump on anything you say as a guy. You could say stuff that you're proud of as a guy, and they're like, oh, what do you mean by that? Toxic this and inappropriate. It's like, oh, dude, I wasn't saying that. Why do you keep imbuing every word I say through your feminist lens? And it's the same with guys. If you get conditioned by the negative defensiveness of manosphere language, which is useful, use it and put it away. When you're with friends or on a date, have fucking fun. Have fun. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Online, have fun when you're talking to your friends. The guys that I talk most with on Discord, we have a laugh about everyday life. We're not on there all the time negatively talking about the world and weighing stats up and, trying to perfect life and balance the sums. It's being around people and your problems around people, you should be calibrating towards how can I solve this so I can have a good time with friends or with a partner potentially if you want to, or on your own. How can I have a good time? Say you want to just I've got nothing to do with, I don't want to have anything to do with women anymore. I want to be on my own. I want to go monk. Fine. Okay. Am I going to hike every day? Am I going to move to this suburb? What am I going to do every day? Or am I just going to sit in my room and complain and say how I really love being alone and how the world's shit? That's a crap life. Imagine the conversations you generate with people that are like you. Imagine then when you go to normal family gatherings, you just sit in the corner, you can't talk to anyone because they're not being negative. And you just roll your eyes and say, well, I can't talk to them because they're unaware of how bad life is. It's like, no, because they want to have a good time as well. There's a time and a place for criticizing life, but try also to grab something in life as well. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with this. Life is about finding people, find out who they are through experience and adventure. Yeah. Not necessarily rose-colored glasses, but I would say look with, hang on, am I in the middle? Come on. What's going on? Come back. Come back. Here we are. Find my face, dipshit. Come on. All right, real time. Let's just switch back to the other one. What's going on with this thing? Come on, Osmo. I was going to recommend this, but whatever. You piece of shit. Anyway, let's go back to yeah. Oh yeah, webcam follows you around. Great. Not so great. Anyway. Yeah, I'm getting dizzy. Bath. Well, okay, it's locked in this mode, I suppose. That's good. Right. Anyway, good enough. Hey, Mr. Smith. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather be at peace than right. There's that saying, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? It is a bit of a glib, self-helpy saying, but I find the people that I can talk to most easily and without all the politics, and they talk like human beings, the guys who are actually going out there and they've got a hobby. They ride a bike, they hike, like Rocket here. He, gets in a camper van every year and goes exploring in different states in America. He's just got something that they can talk about other than social media. The world of social media and women and the politics and left and right and statistics and what's wrong with the world. They can actually talk about what's right in terms of their hobbies and what they do, which I find really refreshing. Yeah, I know. But yeah, let's just go back to Old Faithful here. So yeah, like I wanted to introduce this topic, and I have also in the comments here, I posed where is it? This. It seems like most people want to talk about this, getting older and feeling more alone. Because I think most of my audience is guys who are middle-aged and beyond, which isn't surprising because back when I started my YouTube channel and I was having a lot of problems and I was trying to work out problems in my love life, it was young guys who were experiencing the same things and middle-aged guys. And now when I've kind of some years later worked out a lot of those things and have got a healthier perspective on some of them and figured out a lot of them, it's that it's middle-aged and older. So I think it's understandable that the young guys also, there's nothing much they can get from me. So older and more alone seems to be an interesting topic. And I've been very interested in this stuff, how you live now and what's to come. How are you organizing your life? What friends do and don't you want to have? And how do you want to think? Like one thing for me, I'll share with you is I'm always working on not caring so much about what other people think. And it's not so much online, which that sometimes it pricks me, and it pokes me. But when it really debilitates me, when it's on my mind nonstop, is the people in my life. And I worry far too much, irrationally so, what they think. And the logical side of me knows, no, they care about me. They don't worry about that. You're just making this up. You're making a mountain out of a molehill, Bobby. And I know I'm being irrational and I'm worrying about nothing, but I cannot help it. And that's the emotional thing that pisses me off. And that's the thing that I really need to keep developing a thick skin over. So that's one thing as I'm getting older, is really not caring irrationally so much about what other people think in my life. Because the reality is, if they really shame me about me just living my life, then they're really not the people I should be loving. And I have a bad perception of them. I have a very inaccurate perception of them. Like, I'm just thinking about this now. Do many of you have this problem as well as you're getting older? The old habits of family, friends, how you date, you worry so much, overly so. Because 9 times out of 10, if you ask them, they wouldn't care as much as you think they care. You catastrophize the negativity of that situation so much in terms of what you may not be doing properly. Did you do this properly? I hope they didn't think this. I didn't mean for them to think this way. This is not my intent. And they didn't think that. They've got their own lives. And I'm thinking about this a lot because it just comes and bites me in the ass all the time, and it pisses me off. I notice it doesn't happen to Stephanie. Stephanie's got a really good sense of, no, of course, I didn't mean to say that, so of course I never think people are going to think that. People, if Stephanie does affect other people in a negative way, she'll sometimes reflect, but oftentimes if she didn't have the intent and she was being polite, the way it came across, other people will tell her and say, that was a bit direct. And she'll go, oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. But me, I'm second guessing myself all the time, sometimes around my family and friends, and because I don't want to come across wrong. Striking it rich. He says, oh, come on, man. Come on, camera, webcam. Yes, love ya. He says, most of us men get lonely and eventually just run into the arms of any woman because of this loneliness. Yes. Yeah, but admitting that you get lonely is, what do they say, the first step? If you can't get past that, it's almost like if you don't open that door, you're not going into the room that you can explore for the things that you need. There's this room you can walk into that you can start looking around and cherry picking for all the things that fit you, that can fix all the problems, right? But if you just don't want to open the door you need to open with admitting you're lonely, with admitting that you're tired of being angry, with admitting that you've got a type of woman that you always pick, but you stubbornly refuse to just go on a date with someone else. Just, come on. You go on dates, right? Pick one with your head. Pick the kind of girl that when you get online here, you say, oh, why can't women be like this? And I want a woman to be like this, this, and this. But if they always have to be like a 9 or a 10 in looks, if you can never pick a 6 or a 7, dude, come on. If you say, well, I refuse to look at the personality and the compatibility of a woman in terms of values unless she passes the bar of 9s and 10s, I'm sorry to tell you, all of you statistical guys that look at data and facts, those 9s and 10s who also might have been good in character, they were snapped up in their 20s and now we're 30, 40s, 50s. They're not out there. You are looking for an albino whatever animal that is so rare that it doesn't exist, that gets snapped up. You won't find those people. I'm sorry. You have to get a trade-off, especially as you're long, because that gorgeous person who's also mature and stable, that's a lottery win. That's almost impossible to get. So you're better off dating sensibly. What is a trade-off you're happy to deal with? Like, what are the top things you really need? And yes, this level of looks would be nice, but I can't go below this. But if looks are the top, then stop complaining that you're not getting the rest, where you just keep going out with looks and you're trying to fit an intelligent person into something that's only looks. I've been there. Like, I've gone out with girls who are just looks and frustratingly trying to get them to be something else. It's like trying to make a person into a friend. Like, you're both into video games, say, and they hate video games, but you like that person's personality, and you just keep fighting because you want them to play video games with you, and they hate it. You can't do it. Pick what's more important to you. Pick what's more important to you. Be realistic. All these guys that are trying to find, oh, a woman needs to be this and this and this. You think you're being realistic and scientific, but you're not being practical. If it doesn't translate and map onto reality, then you're being retarded. Sorry. And given your age, what's the likelihood of people out there? There's a level of luck. But again, if you never even go out, then look at this. Fucking hell. Anyway. Am I making you sick, Rocket? Hang on, let's get Rocket sick. He's probably drinking. Hey, Rocket. How are you, man? Anyway. Speaking of Rocket, young men sometimes mistake biological drive to be with someone as loneliness. As you age and the monkey on your back talks less, you will find peace and stability in your solitude. Yes. Especially like Rocket, if you have a hobby, you enjoy your company, you go on trips, he's going from state to state, talking to people, you polish up on your politeness, your please and thank yous and hellos, and I'll order the eggs and I'll have a cup of coffee, how's your day, blah, blah, blah. If that stuff's boring, you don't want to do it, just talk to the mirror and stop complaining about the world. Yeah, for younger guys it is tough. But also if you make zero effort, if whatever older guys or guys like me or Rocket or Boffin or Peg or anybody, right, or even a guy your age that has colored outside the lines and been a little bit brave and saying, well, it's more important for me to try and find out rather than, I don't care if you guys shame me, I'm going to do this. It's sometimes, I know it's lonely for the guys who are younger, but to have the courage to do something that even your friends online may laugh at you later, even if it doesn't work out. Say it doesn't work out, be okay coming back and laughing at yourself about it, but at least you fucking tried. There is nothing better, trust me, there's nothing better, no matter how anyone, people that laugh at you and they haven't tried, fuck them. I tried, at least I tried. Yeah, but you failed. But I tried, you coward. I tried. I tried with a good blueprint. I tried the best I could. And before I tried, there was nothing much wrong with what I was doing other than you guys were saying, well, you may fail, don't come running back to us. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with my strategy. That's the thing. Have a good strategy with risks, because anything worthwhile takes some sort of effort and risks. And if it doesn't work, be okay with laughing at yourself and going, oh, well, that's screwed up. Or you'll have a good story about some chick or something that you went on a date with. But if you never go on dates, if you just safety, 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 there is no life in safety. There is only repeating the safety of waiting for the grave in the future. And that's fine. You can watch just Netflix, you can play your movies. But I think it's really low resolution males and females that make fun of other women or men that take a risk to do things in life. Women who shame other women who want to be a housewife or to get a man or to love their man or respect their man. And all the women say, oh, you loser, why aren't you going for your career? This guy's going to leave you. And the woman says, no, I want to have a man. I want to have someone I respect. I want to love someone. I might want to have a family. Same with the guy. No, I'm dating. I want to be with someone. I want to move in with someone. I want to have company. Fuck your crab friends. You know, if you can't be a little bit, to use the cringy word, vulnerable with your best friends, then how the fuck are you supposed to be open with Chicky Poo? You have to put on a stoic face for everyone. Your buddies online, you have to put a stoic face on with women. It's tiring. The only place I don't have to put the stoic face on is on my own when no one's talking to me and no one's looking at me. That's stupid. Top chat. Ooh, cool. Thank you, Jesus Human. Your words of wisdom and logic are valuable to many of us. Thank you very much. Zaman, I've got so many hobbies, but after my son was taken from me from a relationship breakup, the passion has gone. All my time is worrying about him. I'll plan a trip now. Thanks. Yeah, obviously, look, I understand, guys. You've got a situation like that where it's hard to let go because it's almost like your partner's holding part of your brain in the form of your child hostage. So you can never comfortably let go. You'd be a psychopath. You'd be an animal. So I understand that. I'm not saying whenever I offer these bits of courage and hopefully wisdom to versions of myself, and people say, yeah, but what about this human? You're obviously wrong. Mic drop. I'm not saying if there's a rational way to say my advice doesn't apply in that situation. Of course, I'll agree with you. But to completely disregard everything I'm saying, 9 out of 10 guys online can take the advice that me and the people I talk to are trying to offer. But you won't because you keep picking, yeah, but what about this train wreck? But that's not happening to you. You can do some of these things we talk about, but you say, yeah, but what about if this happens? It probably won't. That's like me even using a positive saying, what if I win the lottery? It's not going to happen. 99.9% chance is my life's just going to be the way it is and I'm not going to win the lottery. Similarly, 99.9% of the time, unless you're a blind retard, you're not going to pick the worst kind of woman if you watch my channel and have these kind of discussions and talk to people these in some sort of formal fashion in this way. The chances of you dating, going to bed with and doing all that, it's not going to happen. Not really. Not to the train wreck extent that you watch videos on YouTube. So, yeah. A lot of people who exaggerate and point to the worst case scenario, it's kind of just, I have nothing to say to those kind of guys. Like, what are you going to say? Seriously. A Rocket says that young men sometimes mistake biological drive to be with someone as loneliness as you age, and the monkey on your back talks less, you will find. Oh, no, I already read that. Boffin, how are you, man? Hey, David, how are you? Boffin says, I think excessive worry about what others think about you is part of the nice guy package deal. I was probably in my late 30s before I started to get past it. Yeah, age helps. You get into your 30s and the hormones from women start to subside as your testosterone goes down, but your hormonal drive goes down. There's this saying by a writer, I can't remember who it was. He says, your eyes start to move away from women and toward the world. And it's usually around your world, what you're interested in, what even books, politics, ideas, you're drawn to ideas more than the idea of a woman and the women that you see. Your eyes, the color for women in your eyes starts to kind of fade, gets desaturated. David P says, most of the time I'm alone, but I'm rarely lonely. Yeah, David seems to have a really good stoic disposition about these things, which you should. As I said in my recent video, which I encourage you to watch here, this one, is that when you date, like you can still be excited about dating and friendship and socializing, but rather than this uncontrollable red hot flame of emotional passion, it's this kind of cool blue flame that's more controlled, and your head is constantly playing tennis with the interaction you're having. You're aware of it. You're not taking advantage of by car salesmen and shop clerks who smile, pretend to be your friend, or a woman in a shop is, hi, how are you? You look great in that, so you can buy it. You're not taken over by that. And same on a date. You really like her, obviously, because you've gone on a date with this chick. But it's like, yeah, this far but no further. Like, you're nice, but you're not up here. You're still at a distance, and I'm still observing you. We're having a good time. So with age comes the kind of cool, the blue flame of social interaction and keeping yourself yourself a bit safer because you're just not jumping off a cliff with the parachute all the time. It's you're taking your time. You're all aware of the excitement and the fun that you're having with family, friends, and potential lovers and dates, but you're protecting yourself a lot more. You're not trusting naively. And it's not the other person's fault. It's because you can't control your hormones. You're feeding off your emotions. You're kind of like the fat person who can't help binging a box of donuts. You get older and you become better at taking 2 or 3 donuts and stopping and saying, that's enough, I'm feeling full. The brain starts to interrupt. And the more you can do that when you're younger as a guy, the better for you. Yeah, Rocket, start drinking so I can make you sick with my webcam. All right. Karu, how are you? Yeah, this looks like an interesting comment. Karu, come on, webcam, pick up my face. There we go. Karu says, men pick looks because that's what they're good for. They don't have other qualities. That's actually interesting. There's a lot of guys that don't think much of themselves. They don't have anything to say. And I think there's a lot of girls also, they just date on looks. They don't have anything to say. They don't think they're good enough. They don't have anything to talk about. They don't have hobbies. They don't think they're anything. They're hollow. Same with a lot of guys. And so they just go for looks. And then they expect women to appreciate them for looks and money in the car and the bullshit lines that they say. They don't want to actually open up and go, yeah, this is me. This is how I talk with my friends. This is Bobby, right? They'll be like, no, this is me being smooth and this is what women like to hear and bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And she's doing the same things. And then when you break up, then you both get online and then you talk the way you should have been talking to the person on the date, and then you talk the way you should have been talking to yourself on the date. You do that online with your buddies on a Discord server or in a YouTube channel or in the comment section, but that way of thinking and talking should be the way you're talking to yourself and the way you're talking on a date. Not in manosphere language, but directly and openly and honestly. Not how can I sell and gain something. It's how can I have fun here interacting? But I'll go back to read the rest of Karu's comment. He says, women pick men for their money because that's what they're good for. Yeah, sorry, I'll jump the gun. That's Karu's saying the same thing as I said. They don't have other qualities. So you've got men and women both dating that are empty, don't have the courage to be themselves and speak and just be honest. They're trying to impress. They're trying to be validated for being the smoothest artificial version of themselves that works. It works. But it's bullshit. Because after the couple of dates and you got no more new material, you're a comedian that's run out of material, then all of a sudden you're just there going, so, did I tell you the story about... And she'll say, yeah, you already said that. And then you'll be like, okay, yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah, why didn't it work out? Because there's nothing inside. So that's a very good comment. That's I believe in that. That's very true. Yes, accept the person how you found them, not how you wish them to be. Yeah, I think that's most people's problems, mine included. You like the way they look and they smile, and that smile and the warmth and the potential and the enthusiasm is like, this has to work. It's like, you don't know who they are yet. You both have just found a beautiful smile and a face and like an aura of a person, and then you just fill the rest in. You feel the rest of the story, and rather than taking notes on the story that's happening in real time. Yes, they look good. Yes, like a great looking car looks good. And you have all these ideas like, I think I'm going to buy this. You have to get in the car. You have to start up. You have to look at every inch of it. You have to talk. You have to discuss. You have to ask the person about the pitfalls and, the fine print and everything to make sure your initial image matches the holistic view of what the person is. Too many of us go into dating by just looking at a person and going, okay, great. They look like everything I want, even after the first date. And you fill in the whole rest of the story. But dating is taking dictation on every interaction and that being the reality of the story. Not, here's an empty vessel that I just fill in a story and I'm frustrated that they're not. Why aren't you being who I want you to be? Women do that to guys a lot. They want guys to change because they see a guy, a fictional empty shell that looks great presentation-wise, but he's not that's not who he is inside. And they're trying to jam in a personality into this guy, and the guy's already full. Sometimes I think people have got we have a personality, but we don't say anything, so we both appear empty. That's the problem. So all right. What do other people think about this? Getting older, feeling alone. How long have I been streaming for? 41 minutes so far. Not bad. What were the comments here? Let me see. Did anyone leave any comments here? Boffin. Boffin leaves a comment. He says, Stephanie's the t-shirt that says, I'm not human, I'm Scandinavian. Holland isn't part of Scandinavia, actually. I thought it was. It's not. Holland is part of another group of countries that the name escapes me at the moment, but it's not part of Scandinavia. I'm like you. I would have thought it was, but it's not. Let's see. If you haven't already, guys, this video I dropped last night. Have a look. It's about if you're always having problems dating, you are attracted to a type, but if that's all you're going all in on, it's like, I like the way she looks, we smile and we say a few polite greetings, and I'm going to make this into a relationship with these polite formalities of a person that looks like a poster I would have in my room as a kid, you've got problems. Your visual type, your preferred type, without a personality is your problem. Because I used to say, well, I've got, I like what I like. What am I supposed to do? I can't be attracted to something I'm not attracted to. And that's true, but how much of your physical type needs to be a 10 out of 10? Is it okay if she's like a 6.5 and above? Should be, especially when you look at yourself. Look, if you're a 9 or a 10 as a physical specimen and you're rich and all that, okay, go for whatever girl you want because you're that top tier. And also, you better make sure that the kind of girl you want, if it's a bimbo, you know the price that needs to be paid for her. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about time, stress, irrational impatience, and just go in areas of life and accommodation in areas of life that it's tiring. And also, I've said this before, but it bears repeating. The reality of all these things is, what trade-off are you willing to accept? If you don't want to accept any trade-offs at all, and everything is the other person's fault, then just accept that you'd rather be alone, okay? And you're happier being alone. Because you think you're perfect, you won't accept any imperfections in anyone else, and you only accept the best. I know a lot of feminists who are like that, and I'm sure a lot of guys can point to a lot of feminists. Does your personality as a guy, let me ask, not my subs, but any random douchebag that might come across this stream, is your high value self when you look at it objectively, do your high standards somehow reflect the way women want high standards, the girl power chicks? Because I see a lot of guys now, what they demand of women, it's in reaction to these ridiculous women. It's like, yeah, you want a 10 out of 10 guy with A, B, and C, $6-pack $1 million. Well, I want a woman who wants kids, stays home, shuts her mouth, great in bed, fantastic chef of a cook, everything. You want that high standard? Ridiculous? I'm going to have that too. How do you like it? And you just become two cartoonish extremes that will never meet. You're both standing on opposite ends of the canyon, yelling at each other, and no one's interested in building a bridge, and you never will, because no one puts in any effort to start it. Whereas if you're more realistic and say, okay, what are the most important things and traits that I need in a person? And then start to say, well, these things are second and third and fourth, and like categorize what are trade-offs and what are must-haves and what are nice-to-haves, and keep your must-haves under three virtuous, value-based must-haves, and then all the rest, your fetishes and your superficial bullshit and like your likes and kinks and whatever you're into, fine. Please try and have them as tertiary elements. But if you don't want to, can't help you. You're probably not watching my channel anyway. So, let's see. Any more comments? If you're here. Yeah, this is true. Robbie says, perfection is a living hell. Yes, I agree. Armored Ghost. What's for brunch? No idea. No idea. I'm just going back through all the comments to see if I've missed any comments or super chats. Nope, nope, nope. Life is about finding out. Yeah, read that. Read that. Experience is priceless. Yeah, this is very true. Very true. Experience is priceless. And if you don't naturally have friends and a lifestyle, go out and generate it. I've mentioned in a video where I didn't have people that I could talk to. I started a YouTube channel just so I could force the kind of conversations that I want to have. I would start the fire and I'd make it a fire. If you don't have experience, go out there and get experience. Stop being held back by where you're stuck and go out, talk to people, go to a cafe on your own and just start with just normal, polite etiquette with the barista and the cashier. Hello and thank you and goodbye and see you later. That's it. And then naturally other stuff will come about. If you're not friendly, you're not going to find friends. If you don't date, you won't get experience in dating. You can't sit back, plan, and then when you say, okay, one day when I've had enough, I'm going to go out there and it's all going to be perfect. It's not. You plan all your life, say with dating in the red pill environment, you go out there and it'll just confirm how bad women are and stuff. But if you don't plan, test, you won't get a good sense of reality. You'll just get a very unrealistic influence view of you and your mates online. Your comfort zone view. No, I haven't watched Alexander Grace for a while. We Are Done. Can you summarize what this video was about? I don't watch very, very much manosphere content because it's not because I'm married and I've had someone in my life for a while. It's because even before Stephanie, I've always wanted to go forward and what about this and how about this. I don't want to just repeat the same conversations in the same way. If we talk about the same conversations in different way, that's fine. But I just wasn't able to, and I just found my channel drifting off into more a philosophical way through this rather than a statistical data-driven way through this stuff, which seems the way most guys online are looking at this stuff, reporting and saying, oh, look at this idiot woman posting online. Well, she's probably trying to get clicks, and she's an idiot, and she's an extreme, and she lives in a bubble, and she doesn't have friends, and she spends all her time online. So she's not a really good litmus test for reality. She's a red flag that you should avoid from orbit, sure, but is she realistically anyone you would pick for a date or talk to at least and avoid? She wouldn't even go on a date with you. Probably, yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't pick her. So she's a moot point. We can't keep pointing to horror movies as reality. You know, to the poor guys that have suffered through those women, commiserations. But how many of these women that maybe Alexander Grace or any of the other popular channels that are very clickbaitable, you watch the women and you think, well, if I was a guy, it wouldn't have gone past one date with that kind of woman. Most of us wouldn't have gone on a second date with that kind of woman that we watch in these videos and, oh, look at her. It's like, yeah, look at her. I wouldn't have looked at her a second time. We know this. So why keep pointing to that? He says it's very different from his other videos. He seems to recognize that the dating game is highly problematic for men. Yeah, but problematic in what sense? Yeah, I know it's problematic, but in what way? It's always been problematic. Dating is much more unfair and rigged towards women. Marriage, cohabitation, everything is unfair and problematic for men. Sure, but it's just repeating the same point. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's talking about it in a more nuanced way. I'm not sure, but I've been acknowledging that forever. But I want to talk more, go further and talk about solutions. It's problematic. Fine. Beat that. Like, what can we do? What can you do? How can you start to choose differently? This is problematic. That's problem. It's just political. It's the soccer mum that gets on with a microphone on TV and saying, the government needs to do this, and this needs to happen, and that needs to happen. It's like, okay, soccer mum, we know if it's that low resolution, here are the problematic things. Come on, let's go to university. Let's stop staying in high school. It's like, there's a flaming dumpster fire in the middle of the road. Yes. Let's talk about going around it. No. Let's just sit in the middle of the road like a moose and scratch our heads and like go, what can we do? We can't go forward. Anyway. Yes. The camera is auto-tracking. But yeah, if this is better, I can go on here. This isn't auto-tracking. Okay. Karu says goth girls are great. Are they? Look, whatever we're into, right? They are great for a certain thing. Sometimes they're really great. There are certain women who are great in bed, but almost none of them are great for anything outside of bed. And a lot of guys try and make them into relationships. A lot of girls go for these bad boys who are great for, I don't know, protection and drama and excitement or whatever. But if you want anything else aside from the bad boy, they're terrible. No. Hey, Ronan, how are you? Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to maybe do a stream or video next. More for people middle age who are thinking about, say, the lack of friends, dating as well, but being alone and like getting older and being alone, probably feeling lonely, lying to themselves by going backwards. That's why I also asked these questions in the poll. Where was it? These ones here. Where I also said, am I coping by going backwards? Because sometimes where we're not looking for solutions going forward, we can very easily just go back to what's comfortable. Well, I don't know what branch to swing to. There's no branch I can see. Let me just hold on to the branch I've always held on to, which is going back to the same YouTube videos, having the same discussions, watching the same movies, eating the same food, but you might actually be over it. So it's something that I want to discuss a bit more. Midlife and beyond, changing your life, getting older, the things you used to do no longer work for you. You used to be really into something 100% when you were in your 20s, and now you're just trying to squeeze as much juice out of that, and it's just dry. There's nothing there anymore. And you're just either afraid, you don't know what to do, you got the same friends, so you can't discover what you want to do because the same conversations don't generate any kind of exploratory way of finding a way forward. Karu. Yeah. All right, guys. Any final questions? We can wrap this stream up. This was fun. I wanted to have more of a lighthearted discussion today instead of being so serious, which was another reason I'm experimenting with this thing here. This is so cool. Do you reckon I should do a stream just with this? Look like Stevie Wonder. I need to turn my exposure down to get you to believe that. All right. Yeah, is it? It's a holiday now in the US, isn't it? Is it Halloween? What is it? You guys had Thanksgiving. I think it's Thanksgiving. All the turkeys are nervous. But if you can, I'd be interesting to go to my poll in my community tab. I've just asked, which of these topics do you want me to discuss more of? Because I've been interested in these. They've been swimming around in my head. Getting older and alone, coping with things by going backwards into old friends, old conversations, old pastimes, and old hobbies, and you kind of feel stuck. It doesn't fit anymore, but you don't know what else to do. The idea of balance in life, you got to balance everything. It's kind of a lie. It doesn't intuitively feel right because it feels like you're just distracting yourself with many things. And then sometimes when you don't have friends, sometimes the only writing things down and getting your thoughts out and being honest is the only thing that's actually honest and will listen to you. That's coming more from my brain as a writer. But let me know your thoughts in the community tab under that poll. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. And I'll start making a couple more videos leaning in that direction. And I'll repost that as well. That is funny. That's funny, Boffin. Yeah, Stephanie's running around on the floor. Keep up, babe. Keep up. Keep up. All right. Yeah. I bought this. Stephanie and I are going to Spain in 3 weeks over Christmas and New Year's for a family vacation to catch up with her family. And I bought this little camera as rather than taking my other cameras because it's just too heavy. So I'm taking very small cameras like this one and like a little GoPro thing to document it and maybe do a vlog and present it on our channel. So I'm trying not to be so frivolous with my gadget spending. Although Stephanie doesn't care, which is a nice thing. Ronan, thank you for the super chat. He says, Human, have you heard of the Tibetan Book of the Dead? No. I have heard of the Mexican Day of the Dead, I think it is. He says, I recommend it to everyone. It's great for many things, specifically for living and being wise in appreciation of life and nature and humans, as well as you and Steph. Thank you. Be well, you and Steph. Yeah, I would imagine from the title, The Book of the Dead, and why people recognize the Day of the Dead in Mexico, is that it really makes you aware of time and like we're all going to die. It's part of life. There's birth, there's death. Rather than ignoring it, and then at the back of your mind, you're haunted by time as you get older. In the West, we ignore death to a large degree. And I think it's to our detriment. I know it's to our detriment because there's still so many people my age online shouting and screaming and trying to work out life like it's mathematics. It's like, what are you going to work out, dude? You're over 50. You're not going to win the lottery. Like the lottery you're wanting to win, you should have won and answered and found and forced and made happen when you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s. Like now, the chances of it happening, you're just beating a dead horse. If it happens, you'll be lucky, but it won't be mathematics that made it happen, dude. It would be pure and sheer luck. I was lucky that Stephanie contacted me, right? Everything after she contacted me wasn't luck. But if she didn't contact me, I wouldn't have met Stephanie. Probably wouldn't be married. People online that are trying to work out this relationship stuff mathematically, precisely, like they can curate who they're going to meet and how. Yeah, to me, the guys that are doing that are no better than the women who are reading The Secret and trying materialize stuff. There's a way of having a mindset and having a better disposition going forward and believing in yourself, sure, in a masculine point of view, like knowing your boundaries, speaking up for yourself, not deferring to women all the time and putting yourself first, things like that, but not magically expecting things to happen and you sitting back and being a 0 but expecting 10 in life. No, you got to meet life and people part way to get something approaching the stuff you want. But Tibetan Book of the Dead, I'll write it down. Otherwise I forget it. This is another thing. You get older and it's like, write it down or you forget it. On a side note, gadgets and stuff, Kara will appreciate this, although he pretty much knows. My favorite pen is a Parker pen, a refillable Parker jotter. And it's been around for like forever, right? It's the original click pen. And because it's popular, I think, yeah, I'm not going to get, it's popular. Everyone likes it, therefore it's probably stupid because I don't like what everyone likes. And again, it's awesome. I highly recommend if you like pens, try a Parker jotter. I pretty much think this is the my forever pen. I'm just going to, you get refillables. It's so simple. Look at that. Yeah, I am a gadget person. Stephanie likes this about me. Anyway, whatever. Yep, Karu knew straight away. Yeah. And because look, it's not my fault. Karu got me talking about it. I've got big hands as a guy, and the Parker Jotter's fairly small. And I thought, no, it's not going to be good. My hand's too big. There's a reason why this pen is good. Try a Parker Jotter, a normal, not the XL. I bought the XL because I've got bigger hands. The XL doesn't feel as good as this. This thing is so good and small. And my favorite is the white one, not this black one, but I keep this black one here at my pen. Missile Launch says, Human, have you ever heard of the concept of manifesting as putting your mind into the space a goal is meant to be, to put you in, like achieving inner peace to acquire outer peace? I'm oversimplifying it here. I have, but in the sense that I'm optimistically rational about what I'm doing and I'm doing it in the best possible way. So I'm not going to go out dating only calibrated towards all the negative red flags and expect to get a positive outcome. I'm going to acknowledge them, be aware of them, but I'm going to go on to dates wanting to have fun, have a good time, and my antennas are ready to prick up when I notice something and I'll speak my mind. but I don't go out there negatively. I go out there positively. If I want to get something positive, I go out there positively, because rationally, that's the best way to get something positive out of the situation, if that makes sense. So it's the same thing as manifesting, but the female version is, I'll just sit here, I'll be a bitch, I won't say anything, I'll eat Cheetos and ice cream like Bridget Jones on the couch, and why isn't a, Calvin Klein model knocking at my door who's a billionaire? You just can't do a wish board like women do and expect it to happen. It's great that you believe it, but carry that belief into a situation. I think that it's mainly women that do this belief thing, but the manifesting part that works for me is that you manifest privately and then you take it publicly. You do it with people. That's why people who are happy and social and people like being around them, they take that inner self-belief and they take it out socially, and they talk that way and they act like that way. They don't just have their shield up in public on dates. Whatever you manifest, like in terms of your positive attitude, your sense of humor, fucking hell, have a sense of humor. Take that fun aspect, take it out socially, then it works. But you don't just privately sit there in your room in your four walls and go, why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? Come on. Why isn't she knocking at my door? Like, it's not going to happen. So manifest practically, not sort of that wishful thinking way where you just sit alone and you wonder why you're not winning the lottery. It's kind of more skill-based. It's much more practical. Ronan, thank you for the super chat. He says, well, it's intense more than just medical death. It's very philosophy and philosophical, like ending and beginning of things. Yeah, that's what I actually thought it might be just by the title, the Book of Death. Yeah, I think the Stoics as well, they've done this a lot, where the saying that they utter, the phrase that they utter in Stoicism is memento mori, which is the Latin phrase of remember death, or you will die, a way of you remembering that death is coming closer and the sands of the hourglass are coming running out, and you'd better hurry up and live if you've been deferring living. And a lot of these planners that plan all the time. All right. Ronan says, yeah, you got it, human. That's manifesting you see in the mind, and then you put intent. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's like so many phrases online. I think they've gotten co-opted by people who are just afraid, making a business of it and talking a lot of shit and just blowing hot air. But when you can make your attitude, your philosophy and beliefs practical and push them in the way you speak and what you do and what you choose and when you go out there, that is relating in the best possible way you can. So I'm all for that. But just manifesting, like wanting something magically to appear out of nothing. No, it doesn't appear out of nothing. You need to place yourself in a certain situation with the correct mindset, and the chances of you getting something out of that will be the best. Okay. He referred to it often, one of his favorites. Never read it myself. Okay. All right. It's piquing my interest. I'll look it up. Thanks for the recommendation, guys. Yeah. Technically, if you think negatively about women, you will get that presented to you. And you will jump onto the negativity because, say, a positive woman or someone who's just normal, you'll be like, I'm not used to seeing this. I'm used to seeing the kind of women I see on Fresh and Fit and the negative train wrecks and my mother or siblings yelling at me and negative, and I feel like I don't get along with anyone. I'm not used to this person. So you're only going to understand the bitch the girl who's trying to shit test you. But when a girl's not, it's kind of this neutrality where you don't know what to say. But when she's saying things that you know, I recognize this from videos I watch on YouTube. Haha, you're trying to do this. And so you're always defensively relating to women who have bits of them that prick up that seem like the red pill space. That's why I say you need to have conversations with other people. You need to stop watching negative videos and not be delusionally optimistic, but find solutions forward. If you're going to manifest like what was talked about, manifest with good boundaries, how you want to speak, and you will speak your mind. You won't go out with bad people. You're not just, you know what dating today is like online when people just point to the negative stuff online? It's like you're a masochist dating. You're like one of these people that go to BDSM clubs and like getting whipped. That's what it's like. That's what you start fetishizing, whether you know it or not, because a normal person is boring. You look at girls that go for bad boys, normal is boring. Guys that now watch all these hot bimbos that are hard to handle, they might be good in the bedroom. You want them, but the girl that's not them, that just looks normal, that looks like the girl next door who's just in the supermarket, they just look boring because they're not a YouTube video. They're not someone you watch and are entertained by. So you condition yourself by the things you watch, the hobbies you have, and the people you talk to and the conversations you have. If you're always having negative conversations, if you're always complaining, if you don't want to talk real, and you always talk about them, I'm perfect. Well, I don't even need to talk about me. But let's talk about how imperfect the world and politics and women are. If that's all you got, that's what you're being conditioned. You have hubris about yourself. You think you're great. You've got a big ego. And everyone else needs to up their game. That's your life. Because you don't know how to think and talk any other way. How are you going to talk positively on a date with a woman that you went on a date with that you like? What's the positive conversation going to be like? There is none. Because you don't watch that. You don't speak about that. You don't get with your friends and talk about, well, what good traits do I want in a woman? Let's talk about those. Look, I'm hearing those positive traits. I'm talking about them. I am speaking the words that I want to speak, that I want to have, that I like. No, all you do, most guys out there, not you, but most guys out there is like negative. No, red flag. Don't do this to me. Don't be that way. You're not going to take advantage of me. Aha, I'm smarter than you. Don't outwit me. I've got to put you in your place, sweetheart. Don't think that you can control it. You've got to be in my frame. It's like, okay, no wonder your dating life is a train wreck. It's not women. It's women and you. It's both of you. You deserve each other. You do. You deserve the women, the train wrecks you get. I did when I was calibrated years ago more to defensively dating. Once you're good, and especially once you can talk freely without censoring yourself and curating a slick way of speaking to get this woman in your frame, when you stop doing that, when you're just yourself, and when you can have a laugh, and you're not offended by anything, and you're not defending yourself, life is better. Life is really good, and you'll get people around you that are better. You'll start to have a laugh. When's the last time you had a laugh as well? Use Schneider Galleon refills in your jotter. They're cheaper and write better than Parker refills. Really? These are pretty good. What are the other pens? I've got the other popular clickable pens. What's that one? The Safari. It's like a Scandinavian brand of pen. It's another popular one. But anyway, I like them, but the ink is too light. This ink is almost perfect. I'll give them a try. Karu. Yeah. Not chasing women. There are other things in life I'd rather. Good. Do that. If you honestly have nothing to, like, it's not a way to get women, but it's only when I started to really just embrace the life I had, my friends and my family. And it's like, I'm cutting off women. I'm not pursuing them. They are not taking up any more mental space. The videos I make are going to be about lifestyle and going forward. And I'm not just going to complain about women anymore. I started to have better conversations. And then I met Stephanie, and then I talked to other women online that had really nice, engaging conversations. So your life is better. You have better conversations. And if you just want to have fight or flight conversations, just recognize that you are, but a lot of guys don't. It's also important to say there are a lot of great book recommendations, but make sure you try and implement and practice these. And one of the great things I've learned is that you read a great book, underline or write them down. Like when you read a book that speaks to you, there's a passage, get out your notebook and write your thoughts in that moment, how it affected you. Write them in your own words, what came out of that, what you absorbed and what you learned. There's nothing like writing something down, which is another reason I love stationery, to get me to imprint the ideas in such a potent way that it becomes part of my philosophy. This is why I'm able to speak the way I do, and I'd like to think at times fluently express exactly the sharp ideas I want to express. And it really did well for me on dates and talking directly to women and to family, friends and siblings and telling people exactly who I am. Write down exactly the moments that hit you, underline them in books, but write them down with your own words with a pen. Don't just type them out, write them down. You retain them. That's why I can remember quotes, I remember sayings, I remember authors, because it imprints in my head, and that imprinting comes out in conversations when there's a topic and someone tries to test you or manipulate you, you have an answer. There was a wise person in a book that was your friend when you read it, like these book recommendations, that is your friend that's coming up as a quote that is there to help you in this moment when someone's trying to manipulate you, that's helping you stand up for yourself. So write down in your own words with your own hand how it meant to you or what it meant to you. I do like fountain pens. I like fountain pens for drawing though, for inking, but for sketching, writing and everything, I prefer a really good pen. But for final inking, I've always inked with a quill pen dipped in ink, like a Hunt 102, I think it is. A crow quill pen, look it up. And a couple of other ones, a couple of other British ones that are really, really nice. Oh, back in my comic book days, I loved inking with one of the little nib pens that you dip in ink. Oh, the line. I'm not a brush guy when it comes to inking, but I am a pen and nib guy. Something really meditative and beautiful about it. Yes, pens and pencils, sketching ideas, notes, scribbling. There's nothing like working things out on paper and getting your thoughts out. Because in your head, stuff swims around a lot. On paper, you crystallize the thoughts and you see them. I've mentioned this before, where start writing down these thoughts that you have conversations with your friends about, say about women and dating and socializing and your parents pressuring you and jobs and the world and stuff. Start writing them down with your hand and your thoughts. You will be surprised, if you've never done this, the language you use. And when you read back your words, you'll think, holy shit, do I speak like this? Is this how I speak to myself? No wonder I kick myself. I'm down on myself. No wonder when I go out in front of people, I'm negative, or I don't appear confident, or I'm a bit quiet. I remember when I used to, because I've always written stuff down. I've always sketched. I've always worked out my problems on paper before I was more social as I got older. And when I read my old journals, I am so sometimes embarrassed and surprised that I use that language, and it made sense why I was at that place at that time. No wonder I was having these problems when I read the words I used. The words you are using in your head and then you translate it to paper are how you come across to people and what you believe. So when you see them on paper, that's how you talk up here. So when you can get that on here, you will be surprised at how you think, and then it's like, well, this is what I project to people. This is what comes out to people. And then also, the better you can do this, the more confident you can do this. Really, it's a big thing. I go on about this so much, and people think, Bobby loves writing and he likes drawing and he loves paper and stationery. No, this is kind of my friend because it's a bridge from here to life. This has helped me work out so much that I think I've got a fetish for the material that helps me do it more than I actually, I love the aesthetic appeal of pens. I love a good design, but this, I respect the bridge of what this is from here to people and me smoothing my life out via these two things. I love pen and paper and pencil and drawing and stories and things, not just in and of themselves, but how they can help you solve so many things in life. Faber-Castell, yes and no. I want to like them, but I've never found a pen or a thing that makes me want to keep it in my small little pencil case of go-to things. Faber-Castell's good. When I was inking comic books, Faber-Castell is nice, but I like their pencils. Their color pencils are pretty good. How do we get onto stationery so much in this? I don't like philosophies that despise the material world. I agree wholeheartedly. Just a guy. If your ethics are not practical, you don't have ethics. Ethics, who was it? I think it was, who was the philosopher that says they really went on about ethics? Quaz opened my eyes to this. That if it's not practical, then your ethics are just hopes and dreams and ideas that mean nothing. So if you don't practice them, that you really shouldn't be talking too loud about your philosophy. Your ethical philosophy should really be practiced, or it's nothing. It's something that should still be worked out on paper until you're confident enough to do it. It needs to be practiced. Okay. All right. I think that's it for today. This is fun. I'm just going to free for all every stream. I use the normal Jota refills for this Karu. I think I tried one other one, but it's not as good. I like the ink in this. Okay. Ah, really? This was about Alexander Gray. Sorry about missing the nuances of the video. It's hard to summarize. It's basically him admitting that he has been wrong. Okay, that he's been wrong about women in which way? Surfer. Oh, okay. Because I got the feeling that Alexander Grace now has been in a relationship. See, this is the thing. When you are doing relationships better, and then you start working them out, and you're with someone, and you see the difference between me rotating first base over and over again and never really getting to know a stranger beyond being a stranger. And then you start kind of not accepting that and only accepting the good stuff. And then you start taking more steps forward. You climb a mountain higher and higher in terms of relationships, and you start seeing the view clearer and clearer. And I think that's a good metaphor. Whereas a lot of guys they're failing. They're trying to climb Everest in relationships and they can't get past base camp. And when you start getting past base camp, your view is better and you never have to go to base camp again because your perspective sees so much more from that height. And it's not about being superior. It's about perspective. So I might give it a look. So his video called We Are Done. All right, I'll see if I can give it a watch. I've never had much of a problem with Alexander Grace, so I don't mind what there's nothing much wrong in his videos. I think it was just his very monotone delivery, and it's a me thing that I just kind of like, the monotone nature. I prefer watching people that are more animated where I can actually see more of their personality, and that's very subjective. It's not a fault of Alexander Grace. It's the same thing with Sandman. I've heard Sandman in interviews where he's just being himself, and I prefer his personality there rather than the presenter. So the presenter in a lot of YouTube videos, that person is a bit like, I can't watch them for too long, but their ideas are still pretty good. So let me have a sip of my cold coffee. All right. I think we're kind of done. Oh, okay. He went the opposite way that you describe it, it seems. Don't want to mislead. So he's gone more negative. So has he broken up with his ex? I wonder. It'd be interesting to see that. Because I've always thought Alexander was kind of like balanced, but, you know, he's got to be your taste of things to watch. But, okay. All right. Well, let me know which camera you prefer for next time, my usual Canon, or if you like more of this. If you're drinking, you probably won't, but oh, and if anyone's interested, this is the Osmo Pocket 3, and that is the Canon R6 with a 24mm Sigma 1.4. And this is the Lewitt 550DM microphone running through a Rodecaster Pro version 1. So, anyway. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for showing up. This was a lot of fun. Thanks to the regulars. I appreciate all the super chats. This was an interesting, important question before we go. Thanks, Peg. Do you like blue or black ink? This is very contentious. I don't write ever with blue ink. I love black ink. And I think it's more from the artistic side. Pencil, ink, I don't like blue, different colored inks. So everything's black, gray, neutral. So black all the way, 100%. I don't enjoy writing with blue ink at all. I wonder what that says about me psychologically, though. The camera is tripping. But okay. How long did... Oh, actually, I could show you a tour of the studio. It's a fairly small room. It's not very big at all. I say if I stretch my arms out, right, I could touch one wall. It would be one and a half arm spans of me wide. So it's not very big. That's why I use wide angle lenses. Yeah, better known as Steph Floor Cam. Yeah, black is a good choice. Black, yep. All right. Let's you can see you can see can you see the little candle behind me? Anyway. Whatever. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone. Leave your comments below. Watch the recent video I just dropped where you might have a type. And if you're always dating the same type of women, or if you're a girl that's dating the same type of guys, then are they really your type if it doesn't work? They might be your fetish, but they're not your type. I'm talking in terms of type that works, like your real type. Your real type should be based on your values first and foremost, if you're dating with intent and dating in the way that you would give advice to somebody. So, Stefan Molyneux's definition of love is the closest that comes to what I think love is. Love is the involuntary response to virtue, or I like to say in today's time, it's the voluntary response to virtue just because of how dangerous it is out there dating. So if it's not virtue and values based, I know they look hot But that's why they're available, because they're no good for relationships, or they're certainly not good for you, probably. Be skeptical of the 9s and 10s that look great superficially, because there's a reason why they're on the market. You could get lucky, but as you get older, you don't want to rely on luck. Really? Humans' premium Balkan genetics even make the dreaded under-chin shot work. Yeah, that's the thing. Although I do have a bit of a... whatever. Anyway. Yeah. See, that's the thing as well. My Balkans upbringing, I went for really... I'm attracted to very harsh, strong women that aren't good for me as well. And so you need to really pay attention to that. So it's hard for you to go for what's good for you, given what you're programmed to like and what you're used to growing up. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you in the next video or stream. Enjoy your weekend, and bye.